Greetings, this is Ginthian, and today we are working on a Ender Pearl stasis chamber, and we'll be able to teleport home using a bed. These are the items that are necessary to create this redstone circuit. I didn't invent this circuit, but I will put a link to the originator down in the description. And you'll start with an area that is 3 by 4 and go back to this back point, and you're gonna dig down 7 blocks. One more. At the bottom, you're going to place a soul sand. This will create the bubble column. Once we add the water into this hole above the soul sand, you will have a bubble column that will serve as the main component of the stasis chamber that will hold the ender pearl. Now, if you don't put the buckets down correctly, you end up with the problem I just created, where I put water in water. So to fix this, I'm going to have to go up 2 blocks, and now not all of these water blocks are full water blocks. I'll show you how to fix that in just a minute. So, to build the circuit, we're going to start by putting a temporary block there and then an iron trapdoor right there. Then you can remove the temporary block, and then we'll move around to the front of the circuit where we're going to put a daylight sensor. Now, the daylight sensor can take a redstone current out of all 4 sides. We're going to come out this direction and also this direction. Then we're going to take our redstone repeater and point it sideways right here and reduce it by 4 ticks. Then we'll add the comparator right here. I'll explain the circuit and how it works in just a minute. But essentially, the next thing we're going to need is a solid block. It can be any block. I like to use my waxed copper block. Then a redstone torch here, and that opens the door. Now, if the water was done correctly, you'd be able to throw an ender pearl down in there. To fix this, you can use kelp to create full water blocks in each of these water blocks. And to do that, you go down, put the kelp in, then remove this. Now these are all full water blocks, and the bubble column works just fine. Now you take an ender pearl and you throw it into the stasis chamber. And this takes a little practice. That one didn't work. However, before I show you how to correct this with an ender pearl, instead, let me show you how this circuit actually works. It'll be easier to do that without an ender pearl in the system. So the way this works is at night, the daylight sensor puts out a signal of 0. Morning comes, and this is slowed way down. You can see that the signals go out and the door flips down. Let's look at this closer. Slowing this way down so you can see it. Morning comes and the daylight sensor fires off a redstone signal in both directions. But it takes different amounts of time for the redstone signal to get to where it's going, depending on whether you go up and into the repeater or left 2 blocks and then into the comparator. The redstone signal into the repeater is delayed by 4 ticks. However, the redstone going into the comparator turns on, which powers the block, which turns off the torch. Turning off the torch closes the iron trap door. The signal then makes it through the repeater and turns off the comparator, which turns back on the torch and opens the iron trap door. It is the closing and reopening of the iron trap door that causes you to teleport back and activates the ender pearl. Through practice and trial and error, I discovered that if you get up above it 1 block, you can throw the pearl into the stasis chamber, and that sets up the ender pearl floating there. Like I said, it gets activated when the trapdoor closes and hits the ender pearl. So let me show you what this is going to look like when we actually try it out at night. Now, we say you're out traveling around your base or traveling far from your base, and it's outside and it's nighttime, and you decide for whatever reasons you need to teleport home. Place your bed down and go to sleep. Please subscribe, like, and click on the bell so that you can be notified of future content. And as soon as morning comes, you are teleported home and you are back where you started. And that's how this circuit works. So that'll work. I really hope you liked what you are watching, and goodbye.